How does it feel to have a dad?
Good. How does it feel not to have a dad?
Good. I think Brie Larson should just stop. That's all I gotta say about it. How that worked. But that's like the fact of my life. That's not the truth, though.
That's
not.
A great way
that
to
is
put
not who I am.
It is the fact of your life, but it is not the truth of your life.
Yeah, it is not the truth of my life.
It
Wasn't he sucking on the streets or something?
I'm
sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, but I didn't mean to say it as if I had a problem with that. He can do whatever he wants, but. I'm such a loser, sweating God, I'm the worst.
Should I clap?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't really work like that, but yeah.
All right.
Well,
so
welcome back.
Hey, everyone.
To the Woodsmen Podcast.
What's up?
We're your co-hosts, Joey Rucker and Brent Murphy. Obviously, I'm Joey Rucker.
I'm Brent Murphy.
And this is our first...
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, bro. And this is our first official podcast with audio and visual.
I know. This is insane.
I'm actually quite terrified because now I have to think about what I'm doing on camera.
I know. You have to dude. I'm a little used to it because I do all the, gaming and live streaming and stuff. So I'm kind of used to getting, doing the visual part.
Yeah.
But audio, that's where you've always come in. And
I've never... If I feel so weird being... in front of I just don't know what to do with my hands.
I know.
I'm just like, hey, what's up?
It's crazy, dude. This is gonna be a momentous occasion because I feel like now that we've done it once, it'll be easier every time we go through it. We know what to set up, how to set it up, and I'm sure that if we, really take this seriously, eventually we can start incorporating actual cameras instead of this kind of workaround.
This is like a little bootleg version of. Podcasting, but
I think for bootleg though, this is
pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
We are currently using phones and a lot of audio equipment.
A lot of audio
equipment. So
it's also insane. I know we've talked about this on the podcast, probably even in the original episodes before, but it's so crazy to think that both you and I have the Shure SM. Dude,
I know.
I remember. Oh my god, I remember the
dreaming
Yeti.
Of it. I remember
thinking, man, it seems like every podcast nowadays, this is the industry standard. And I know, we've talked about this before on the podcast, but it's crazy to think that we're actually here. We're actually doing it. Because I think in the last episode, because it probably will come out before this, we talked about how some of the things we're going to be doing in 2023.
Yeah.
And I think sticking to this is another goal of mine. I want to take this seriously. I want to actually start podcasting. I want to get our thoughts out into the world. Exactly.
This is a serious thing, at least for me. I mean, like we were talking about last podcast. See, it's so nice having a weekly podcast where we can sit down and talk about this stuff.
It's crazy.
But no, I mean, just last year, it was kind of like a creative funk, and I think, with COVID and all that, I feel like last year was like a transitioning year.
Yeah.
We went from getting our lives pretty much stripped away from us in 2019.
Yep.
To now, all right, go live your life now.
I feel like,
how do I do that?
Do you think with the COVID thing specifically, it really is starting only now to
I heard there's
not
supposed to be
down.
Another spike that we might be having mass again in California.
There's no way.
I don't know how true that is.
It can't.
But we also don't live in LA, so I feel like LA might be doing it.
LA, I could definitely see having more stricter.
I don't think anyone cares over here in San Bernardino County.
No one. I mean, if people don't care here, you should have seen Arizona. Arizona was a whole other level.
No one cared over there,
bro.
No one cared.
Oh yeah, aren't we supposed to not cuss now if we're taking this? I mean, oops.
That was a funny bleep though, so it's
that was
okay.
a bleep. Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah.
I always love bleeping things. It is
bleeping
quite
it.
fun.
I honestly feel like bleeps kind of are more funny than the nonsense. It depends on the censor.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like some bleeps are just comically so much funnier.
3 years ago, when I was doing the live streams at college, and I was doing the Tomb Raider games and stuff like that, I had made a video, and actually, the video was actually the episode of the vlog where we went to the George Air Force.
Oh yes,
and a couple
for
of
the first time.
Yeah. For a couple of the things we did that summer, I put a whole montage together. Point is,
I think I remember that video. I think
in
I saw
that video, I stated in the beginning that I wasn't going to censor myself anymore, not bleep it. I was going to just say things. Like I wasn't going to like hide my words.
You weren't going to be afraid to...
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, like about a year into doing that, I did like another video, like a different vlog where I just, for the fun of it, bleeped a couple of the words. And I really thought it just added this comedic effect. Like even it's not even about whether or not I care that I cuss, because I really don't care.
It's very humorous.
But cussing is hilarious.
It is. Like, I feel like some people just say like, oh, it's not attractive to cuss, or, you don't have to do that to be funny. You don't have to, but like, there are some that are way funnier. Yeah.
I think people take cussing so overboard, honestly. They don't get me wrong. I understand that there's a time and a place.
Now, people can cuss overboard.
Yes, of course.
I feel like I understand.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people think that it is it kind of speaks to your creative ability, and I don't agree with that, because I've heard so many people talk about that, and I don't see how, if you're intelligent enough to be funny and cuss in, like I said, in an intellectual way, there's definitely a happy medium.
Like, I love Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah, Dave Chappelle's great.
He cusses hella, like he like
all of the time.
But like I just don't understand how people could say like it's not an art.
Yeah,
I will never understand like, oh, because this person cussed in a special, it is no longer deemed as like noteworthy or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know, man. Like at least for me, Dave Chappelle, phenomenal storyteller. Like when he talks, I'm like I know exactly what he's.
Excuse me.
Like I can picture it. I can see this whole scenario in my head. I mean, I think that's what just makes a good comedian altogether. If you can visibly picture what they're talking about.
Oh my God, yeah.
Then that's how you know you're like a good storyteller for sure.
I think Tom's really good at that. For sure.
Yeah. And he's so monotone too, and I think that's what makes it even more funny.
Yeah. Like, and I think, because then people also say like Jim Gaffigan is...
We meant Tom Segura, by the way.
Tom Segura.
Sorry.
Because actually I was going to mention Tom Papa too. Tom Papa is like in between Tom Segura and Jim Gaffigan. I feel like he's like right in between.
Happy medium.
Yeah, it's like if you like a little bit of cussing, a little bit of vulgar comedy, but you also don't want it to like go overboard to the fact like, someone like what's his name, Ralphie May. I feel like Ralphie May took it a bit far at times.
I feel like that was just like his thing.
I feel it was definitely his thing. People thought of him as the one white.
Like, who is this guy?
The one white comedian that could say the N-word, He was
the
one
guy.
Had
the pass.
But you know why? It was because he didn't give a
He just didn't care.
It was insane. Anyway.
I mean,
rest in peace.
If you can't care, like if you act like you don't care, then majority of the time I feel like no one's gonna ever say anything. Period.
Yeah.
Like, because you're the one that's kind of making a big deal out of it.
We should mention these boys. I feel like one thing we could do in this episode is give them names.
Oh my God.
That's not one of my topics. I just thought of that right now.
Why don't we leave it to the two viewers that are going to probably watch this first
we could
episode?
Do that. Yeah. That's something that is coming in the future. We'll name our little buddies. But yeah, Brent and I went up to Running Springs? No.
Lake Arrowhead.
Lake Arrowhead. Went up to Lake Arrowhead, and originally we were going to the Pendleton store, but we found out that stuff was so expensive. It's
even more expensive now than it was like a year ago.
It's ridiculous.
It makes me so sad.
But while we were there, we ended up going to a toy store. I wish if I find the name, I could pop it up on screen. But it was great because I found a bear toy, and
well, we should explain what they're even for to begin with.
You go ahead. You explain it.
Well, obviously we're called the Woodsmen Podcast, so the woods are pretty cool.
It is. They are.
And Joey is definitely a big bear. If you guys couldn't tell, he definitely is.
That's kind of my persona.
He gives off bear vibes.
Yeah.
24/7. I guess I give off wolf vibes.
I think you do honestly give off wolf vibes.
I mean, I appreciate that because wolves are very unique creatures.
They like to stick in a pack. They're very loyal. Yeah. They're also very defensive.
Because here's the thing. I'm also very defensive.
The cool thing about you is you could pick any wolf and you could relate to it. But the problem is I feel like I only relate to specific bears being like black bears. I feel like I don't give off... Maybe I give off grizzly vibes.
I feel like you 100% give off black bear vibes.
Yeah, I feel like I do too.
They're just like... They're clunky. They're not They're not all together. They just... they're not. If you ever watch videos of them, they're just like... They're, little bear noises. I don't know how bears work.
But I totally get it. I definitely give off black bear vibes.
Hey bear, hey bear, and then you.
By the way,
go
who the hell invented "hey bear" as the phrase to say? You could say anything.
I was thinking it was just an alone thing.
Everyone, it's like a common thing.
Multiple videos, multiple YouTube videos. People go, "Hey bear,
hey bear."
Well, you just, hey. Yeah. What's a bear supposed to say?
You could scream at the top of your lungs and it would do exactly the same thing.
Why wouldn't you want to assert dominance if you have a bear staring at you?
Yeah.
In your...
Well,
that's so scary.
Black bears are the only thing you can do that on, because I hear with grizzlies you're supposed to just play dead.
I heard with grizzlies... this one, actually, I'm 100% wrong. This is definitely a Red Dead thing. But, if you just stand still, bro, grizzlies won't attack you.
Oh, no, well, there's actually some truth to that. Because, again, like I said, some people think that you're supposed to just play dead. I mean, it's the same kind of concept. I mean, standing up just, like a deer in headlights, maybe not. But
yeah, I heard you're not supposed to assert dominance with grizzlies. But if you do just kind of stand there, you have more of a chance.
I can believe that.
But, if their babies are there, you're done.
There's
no,
That's what was crazy about that,
the Revenant,
the first episode.
I just think of the Revenant, bro.
Dude, the Revenant.
I'm just like, oh.
You know what's funny? Me and Isaac watched that over my last semester at college for the first time.
I would love to watch that movie again.
For the first time, or in general.
Just again.
I think
I've seen it quite a bit of times.
I feel like I want to, I've only seen it once, and I kind of want to see it for the first time again because,
oh. You mean if I just had a choice?
If you had the choice to watch it
that was such
for the first time. Yeah, I was blown away on it. What's his name? Not Leo.
Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy. Dude, I wasn't expecting him to even be in the movie, and he was great.
Honestly, I didn't even know he was in the movie until the last time I watched it.
It's hard. I didn't know until halfway through.
And I watched it in the movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And
you saw it in theaters?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
No, when did it come out?
I think in 2016.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I think that was Leo's first Oscar was for the Red.
Which is ridiculous, by the way.
Insane. I will never understand how Hollywood just continues to.
Yeah.
Well, they just continue to over Leo.
Totally.
You can bleep that one out, but they I feel like every time Leo gets a chance, he just gets bombarded and doesn't. Mm-hmm. I don't get. He's such he's one of my favorite actors.
I mean, every film I've seen him in is just.
He's phenomenal.
It's insane. I mean, I think what sold me on his acting, because I've seen Titanic, I've seen
Great Gatsby.
I actually haven't seen Great Gatsby. I got to get to that one. I've seen the end of it, which is kind of sucky.
That one will get you.
But
that's a good one.
I think when I saw Shutter Island specifically, that's what hooked me on it, and that's what got me into Inception. And
by far one of the best. I feel like it's an underrated movie too.
Shutter?
I feel like not a lot of people that at least I know personally even know what that movie is.
Oh yeah, no,
and it's such a good
it's insane. It's all worth it just for that end scene. Not to well, it's been out.
Well, you're just sitting there and you're like, there's no way.
He knows.
There's no way.
If you haven't seen it, definitely recommend. Solid 8 out of 10 movie. It was great.
It is phenomenal.
But no, Revenant, when I saw it for the first time, I was really surprised because I thought the resolution or the climax was going to be the bear.
No.
It's
the beginning.
The bear is the beginning. The bear is one of the first things that happens to him.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, just think, we listened to that video just a couple of days ago, I think, about the real guy. The guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone has heard any of the, I mean, if you've never watched The Revenant, you're gonna be really confused as to what we're talking about
Yeah,
in
that's true.
general. But the character that Leo played was actually was a real person. It's based on a true story of a frontiersman,
Mm-hmm.
and even like to this day, no one really knows what happened to him after that whole encounter.
Yeah.
After the almost shootout with him and Tom Hardy. I'm using the actor names, but
Yeah. I don't, for the life of me, remember the character names.
But they, he just apparently got $300 or something from the state, like something like astronomically low to us, but it's
But
like
in the
frontier
time,
times, But they gave him like $300 or something. And then he just disappeared from existence. No one knows when he died. No one knows where he went. No one knows anything. And I think that is like, those are some things in history that like I really just want to know. Like there are so many people that we cannot trace back.
Mm-hmm.
Like just as far as because a lot of things are just hearsay, word of mouth type of thing. Like think of all the people who just disappeared from existence that no one knows what happened to him.
Dude, I know.
Well, like Henry Avery, I mean, I only know this because I'm into a lot of pirate stuff, but Henry Avery was like a super famous pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's in the Uncharted games. Or
Uncharted 4. Yes,
yeah.
I remember now. I remember the name.
So that's a real thing. Henry Avery was like a real pirate.
I did not know that.
He plundered like one of the biggest scores in history.
Really?
As a pirate, like Spanish gold and everything. And the game it's pretty crazy how insanely accurate some of the game is because like he really did just disappear. Mm-hmm. No one knows if he died. Well, obviously he died, 1700s, but no one knows like what happened to him. No one knows if he was, murdered for being a pirate, all that kind of stuff because people were getting killed for all that, treason and all that. But yeah, he just disappeared from existence after like one of the most successful
and it happens all the time in
history.
Which is a shame about history, honestly. That's like the one thing dude, I hate that now that I'm getting older.
That I'm interested.
I want to know more about history because history was like my least favorite thing growing up.
Because I was super bad with dates.
Yeah,
and I'm like super bad with all that. But now I'm like, okay, I'm starting to understand. But I don't know if you feel this way. I think I do more because I care a lot about, so like I have like, Native American heritage, all that kind of stuff in my family. But there's so much whitewashed history of America that like we will never know. Yeah. Like actually like the real story, what really happened with like a lot of things, bro. Like, and just think of how insane that is.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like it's insane. And I mean, conspiracy theory wise, there are a lot of stuff that I feel has been covered up in history and maps and like
we talked about that guy last week. The fool with the giant. Yeah, I mean that guy I think is still missing.
He's still missing.
Still to this day.
I just saw a video.
He's still missing.
Yeah, I just saw a video on that.
Actually, before we move on, I wanted to say something about the whole history thing.
No, yeah.
Would you agree that? Because in my opinion, I think that teaching students nowadays history, at least from my experience in learning it, the way that they have kids learn history nowadays is not the way I think you should teach it. I think what you should do is you should make them interested in the story.
Exactly.
Like the way that video did with the guy from Revenant, the original man.
Yeah.
Like you just get so compelled in his story and like what happened to him, but instead we have to sit here and learn. Like I'm not saying we shouldn't learn the dates, but make a reason for the kids to remember the dates. Like put an impact on that date 100%. That they'll stick with. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how they do that, but
see, I don't know how you felt. One of my favorite teachers of all time that we've ever had that I feel like we have not talked about in a while.
Fulkins?
Was Hinshaw.
Oh, Hinshaw.
And
for history?
And the only reason why I say Hinshaw, because we didn't have him for history.
Yeah,
but we had him for English. But think of how he got us so involved with like Romeo and Juliet.
Oh,
and
all
that kind of stuff. Like he made it fun. Like, it was obviously some none of us wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, he was animated.
Mm-hmm.
He, like, you could tell he enjoyed what he was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
He cared about what it, like, his students.
Yeah. He was enthusiastic
everyone gave
about
him
it.
such a hard time, and it makes me so sad. He was, like, our first Greg.
Yeah.
In high school, know?
Yeah, in high school, it was Hinshaw and Hutch.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And it's just
Hutch
like,
was a different game.
I just feel bad that it's like we really kind of just walked all over that.
Slept on it.
We all slept on it.
You don't appreciate it in the moment.
And it's just like, I think about it now being 22 years old, going on 23 in less than a month. And it's just took so much stuff for granted,
Well,
as far as that,
speaks to the whole point of why you should teach kids in a compelling way, because we're sitting here talking back, even though we didn't appreciate it in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting here now years later, like 5 years later. Not even that. It's been like 8 now compared to when we saw Hinshaw.
That is true.
It's been like 8 years since we've had Hinshaw, and we're still talking about him. But then, not that there's anything wrong with this man, but like Perry.
Yeah.
Perry, we don't have fond things to look back on all the time.
It was because we were more scared of him.
And that's my point.
Like,
it all depends on your teaching methods,
Mm-hmm.
You have to make the kids enthusiastic about learning.
Now,
and then they will.
I will say the one thing that Hinshaw lacked was he lacked the respect of the class.
In what way?
I think
what do you mean?
No one,
besides
the few, us, we respected him, but we didn't respect him. We didn't respect him we didn't respect him like we respected Perry, because
Perry put us in our place.
Put us in our place of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be a balance of the two. There's got to be I need to relate to these kids, and these kids honestly need
who
to
did
be
great?
my friends.
I know people don't have a lot of backstory on these people.
No one here
what's
knows
his
what
name?
we're talking about.
Our other English,
Kadavid.
Kadavid had a perfect balance. I was interested in the
balance.
Story with what's his name, Count of Monte Cristo. I mean, we were so
That's
interested.
One of my favorite books of all time, bro.
I know.
Shout out to.
I mean, it just that's what I'm saying, man. It all depends on how you teach. You have to have a perfect balance of learning, respect, and knowledge.
Yeah, and part of the thing, because my friend Elaine, she's a teacher right now for third graders, and third grade. And she is one of those people where they gotta like me. They have to be my friend.
Mm.
I want their respect
students.
and everything. Yeah, and but she's really firm with these fools.
Really,
but she'll hit them with you were messing around in class, bro. Why do you think I should be helping you with this homework right now?
Yeah.
She keeps them in check, where I'm like, I need some teachers like that, bro. You need some teachers where it's I want you to come to me with anything as a friend, but there also has to be that parent respect. I'm not respecting you because I'm afraid of you, but I'm respecting you because I actually respect you.
Exactly.
As a person.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get that across in elementary and middle school.
But
especially in high school, feel like you should be able to approach and relate to high schoolers at a,
to a certain level,
an adult level.
Yeah.
Because a senior, you're 18, you're an adult.
That's another thing. That's the problem with teachers, though. I feel like the majority of teachers and professors don't think of high schoolers as, almost adults. They think of them as teenagers, which, yes, they are teenagers, but there's a certain level of they're wanting to grow up. They're wanting to get to that next step.
Well, because
and the teachers won't always give them that.
Well, I mean,
option.
we were that age, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, we were in high school, 14 to for you 17, but for me 14 to 18, we live I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I can make my own decisions. I can do what I want.
Yeah.
I can do what I want, Mom. I know what I'm doing. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing.
No. Not at all.
But I think if you have the respect from adults enough to say you are an adult, I think that could honestly go a long way with a lot of kids, because like you said, in high school we were not treated like an adults. We were treated like, maybe middle schoolers at best.
Yeah. I'd
had
agree.
one bathroom for the entire high school because no one could be trusted.
Nope.
But at the same time, can you blame them?
Yeah.
Kicking down stall
it's that
doors
classic
and shit,
trope
I could not literally all 4 years of high school at school because I was afraid that someone was gonna either kick down the door or just do some weird stuff.
No, it's true.
And then you sit there and you're like, damn, I think I might understand where those teachers are coming from.
No, it's true. I was gonna say that's not to say that there's not kids who don't take it seriously. And even if you give them that level of respect, they'll take it and
your sister's
throw
a prime
away.
example of someone who I would consider she is someone
took it seriously
to respect as an adult.
Oh, of course.
Even when she was young.
Mm-hmm.
She's always on top
She's
of
always
stuff,
been super smart and super what's the word? Not attracted, compelled by learning.
She's been self-motivated.
Yeah.
She's just all right, I got to get it done. Mm-hmm. Then she just does it, Yeah,
because that's the thing. Most parents growing up, if you have that parent trope of they need their kids to get straight A's, we didn't have that in my house. It was literally just, you got to get at least a B in high school because that's a respectable ask, I feel like, in this day and age. But as long as you tried your hardest and failed, at least you tried. That was always what my parents told me. It was never Isabella or those people who
where it's you have to get straight A's get it. Because you're well, I mean, it's rough. I mean, you got to think of it as, at least for you, I think you kind of know what you want to do in your life. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've changed my mind so many times.
And
on
that's
where
okay,
I want to
though.
be, because my identity was only music all throughout high school, pretty much all throughout my entire life, not just high school. Mm-hmm. But now it's damn, there's so much more, in the world to just explore and do, and I think I just limited myself.
Sure.
And I feel so many people are afraid of that. I feel like so many people are taught in high school, all right, straight A's, you better get your act together. You better, start signing up for all of this extracurricular stuff. You better sign up for this college prep. You better, make sure you're good on the SATs. You better make sure you're good on this. You better make sure you study for that.
High school's a rough era, man, with all of that stuff.
I'm sorry, bro. Hot take.
Okay.
High school is so much harder than real life. I
have something to piggyback on that.
As far as mentally, I wouldn't say, because when you're an adult, you have finances, you have all, you have all this responsibility. But high school, at least for us, because we went to Christian school, dude, I was forced to write papers differently from other people because of what I wanted to do in my life.
In high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's acceptable. We're going to challenge these students because, we don't think what they want to do is enough. Mm-hmm. So let's just make it harder. You know, high school is such a, you better get it all together, and if you don't, then you're doomed to fail in your life. And I think that's, such a terrifying thing.
I remember, because you say how, teachers aren't willing to help or whatever in high school, and how it's so much harder than real life.
Yeah.
In college, my second take on that last semester when I did pass.
Yeah.
I was probably a quarter of the way into the semester, and we had to make our portfolios and we had to start picking what job we wanted to do. And because I was a digital design animation major, last semester, the one that I failed, I was spending all my time trying to get all of my portfolio, just animation, digital design, visual effects. And that's just never what I've been passionate about. And when I went back that second time, my professor literally said to me, "What do you want to do?" And I said, and she said, "No, what do you want to do?" I said, "I guess I want to do video editing." And she goes, "That's your portfolio." And I was like, it was such a weird, different take than high school was, because she was just like, if that's what you're going to do and that's what you're passionate about and that's what you know how to do it,
work towards it. Do what you want to do.
Do it. Because, if you have a passion for something, you should strive for that.
100%. Yeah.
And I never got that until college. High school was a completely different ballgame.
Now, this is, I guess, still on the same topic, but I guess just a little bit different. How do you keep yourself in your personal life accountable? Like for me, I'm not gonna lie, like it is so hard. Like I'll wake up in the morning and right now, like I was supposed to start my job this week and it starts next week. So I kept telling myself, oh, I'm gonna do, some stuff throughout the week, try and, just keep myself busy. I've done nothing.
Yeah.
Like it is Wednesday. This is probably like the first like thing, I've done at least this week creatively. You know, I don't know if it's just the season we're in, if it's just really hard to stay on topic, stay focused and everything, or if it's just me. Maybe it's just me being an idiot, or not having any motivation. But how do you keep yourself motivated?
Well, the funny answer is it's a mix of something I used to do and kind of bringing it back now because I know it's like backstory time.
Makes sense.
I know my answer's a bit long, but when I was in the transition from Del Rosa to Bloomington, so like middle school to high school, I was at my healthiest. I was getting great grades. I was in the highest honor roll because that's what it was called back then. I don't know if that's even a thing for all other schools. I feel like that might have just been us, but I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I
haven't seen honor
it's
roll.
Just honor. I don't know.
I don't know.
Dude,
but
I don't know.
I remember in that time, what I was doing was I kept a calendar, and my calendar, I just made sure I knew what I was doing that day at what time, and like even my diet at the time, I knew what I was going to eat. I knew when I was going to eat it, and it was weird because I was young and I didn't do it myself. It was a lot of help from my parents, but because I had this set schedule and I knew that I had to hit this deadline, in my brain at least. I know some people don't work this way, but for me, if I know I have to hit a deadline and I know I have to get this thing done by a certain time, it makes me more motivated to get it finished, especially when I like doing it. So all that being said, now, I don't think a month ago I would say I was good at it. I think I was right in your spot, your position, where it was like I'd wake up and I'd be like, all right, there's these couple things I want to get done this week.
But then you procrastinate on it.
And I didn't want to do it.
All right, Friday comes around. Let me do all 8 things I was supposed to do, like
but
one day at a time.
At the start of 2023, what I decided to do a little differently was I actually got a calendar from Hannah, my cousin. And so I literally, just for the fun of it, I was like, I have this project that I'm doing with Tyler, this project that I'm doing with you, and I have 2 different projects that I'm doing with Alex. And I was like, I'm going to assign a couple days, and those are going to be the days I will do it. And this live stream too.
Yeah.
That I do every Tuesday. And so I just told myself, you're going to do it, you're going to wake up, and you're going to get that job done on this day. And you have to do it because it's sitting right there in front of you. So if you pass it...
You have no excuse.
Exactly. If it's right in front of you every single day as you walk in and out of your room, it's kind of like on you if you don't do it. So for me, it always helped me to set a schedule and set a plan. Like if I don't know what to do, that's like another problem. But for me, I had all these ideas and projects I want to finish, and not to just mention projects, but getting healthier too. Like I started my first week of 2023 eating better. And then I decided for week 2 and on, I'm going to implement exercise. And that's not to say I'm perfect. Today specifically was not a great day for me.
No, it's fine. We're all going to have our good days.
I skipped out on my exercise today, and I probably didn't eat the healthiest meals today. It wasn't bad, but the rest of the week so far and last week, I've been sticking to those live streams, the projects. I got quick writes done today with Alex, and so. Long story short, to answer your question, for me specifically, it helps to plan out a schedule, structure. Yeah. Like if there's a plan in mind, then I can follow the plan. If I sit there and just wake up and think, okay, I have to do something today, but I don't have something in mind, then I'm going to fall into that. I'm just going to watch Netflix,
Makes sense.
So,
well, that's like my biggest thing right now. I mean, I'm hoping, and I always tell myself this, and like, this is like the procrastinator part of me that like, I can't stand, but also love, because I know when I do projects in school and I know, damn, this is due tomorrow, like I will 100% grind on that until it's done. Yeah.
I've done the same thing.
So in that perspective, I think it's good. The bad part is like, I'm terrible with keeping a calendar. I'm terrible with like, all right, I got to make sure all this is structured. I used to be really good at it. I used to be very structured, especially in high school. And I think it's because, like, we just didn't have time.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, like, I mean, if you think about it, like, our days, for the most part, were structured for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we go to school at 7:30. We get out at 3. And from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., our entire day was scheduled for us. And then we had soccer, you know, junior and senior year. So that meant from 3 to what? Or, no, I'm sorry. 5:30 a.m.
5:30, yes.
To what? 4:35 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So almost a whole 12 hours of our day was structured and planned for us. And then
did that help you in that time?
I think it 100% helped, mainly because it's like, well, what else am I going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I'm stuck
and
at,
that's exactly
I'm stuck
why
at this
it
building
works for
and
me.
I'm forced to go and I'm forced to do this. And, you know, like, so it's easy. And I think that might be part of the challenge of being an adult is like, no one is telling me I have to do this, but am I going to do it? I think that is like, if you could sum up being an adult in one sentence, I think that's literally all it is. Like, no one's telling me to do it.
Yeah.
But am I telling myself to do it? I think that's like the biggest thing you got to ask
It is.
yourself.
It's absolutely the biggest thing. And that's why and again, it doesn't work for everyone. So that's why, but for me, making that schedule is telling myself I'm going to do it. And it's making sure that I do it.
Yeah.
Instead of having someone make sure that I do it. You know, because that's another thing when you're growing up
It's
as
the
a teenager.
accountability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to, one of the hardest things about becoming an adult is being your own accountability partner.
100%.
It's one of the hardest things to do.
When I think the sad thing is, too, that comes into that is that so many people, and you basically get brainwashed in high school. You basically get told for the next 4 years of your life, this is all you're going to do. And at least for us, being in private Christian school, you're going to have only 200 people in your entire school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all the staff is going to breathe down your neck.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's going to force you to do what you need to do. But then we're going to send you off to college. And everything that we told you, 180.
Yep.
Flip it 180 degrees. Like, okay, we're going to keep you accountable. We're going to tell you what to do. We're going to force you to do this. We're going to force you to do that. If you don't do this, you don't graduate. If you don't do that, you're in trouble. To if you go to college, hey, welcome. It's time to make your future a reality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but like college is so much more helpful than high school. Like you go into college and there's literally specific counselors.
Of course.
All you want to do, like, you know, and all their whole job is to just sit there and talk to you and like guide you through like your next steps of your life and stuff like that. Bro, in high school, our guidance counselor almost made it to where I couldn't pass high school.
Mm-hmm. I remember. Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like stuff like that where it's like, bro, like you have so many incompetent people in high school telling you to be the competent one.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into real life in college and realize like, damn, bro, it's so much different. There's so much more to life.
Well, yeah, but we play up college a lot in this last couple
college
topics we've had.
Hard.
But there is another aspect that I found out really dramatically, and it wasn't even that semester I failed. It was the first semester of college in freshman year was that whole being your own accountability partner. You don't have your parents as much. I mean, it's a little different, like for your situation, especially.
Well,
especially it was
for
so
you.
weird for me because I had to wake up and choose to go, you know? For 4 years, I had to wake up myself and just make it to school. And I feel like I've gotten better at that over the years, and I respect it more, and I appreciate actually putting in the effort. But it was a hard switch over from high school, waking up because, like, if you didn't, someone else would.
100%. Yeah, like if I sleep through my alarm, I got my mom breathing down my neck, like, you know, get your ass out of bed.
So with your experience in college, I know, like I said, I had to, for myself, being in Arizona, I had to choose to wake up. Did you have a similar or different take? Like, because I know you were still at home.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not high school.
I don't think I really had a problem with
going.
I think it was more like I guess I got to do it,
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
of thing. I think this last semester was a little bit more like, I really got to pick and choose my battles here, mainly just because I had a class where it was so new to me.
Mm-hmm.
I never had done anything, it was my screenwriting class. And I've never written a script. I was always good in English, but it was like, all right, sit here on a completely different software that you've never been on before.
Yep.
And throw out everything you know about writing and then write it this way.
That has to be weird.
And then also come up with a 60-page, script on something that you don't even understand what you're writing.
Yeah.
Dude, it was just, it was so stressful. Just as far as because I'm a film major, for people who didn't know. But, just going into something where you're like, dang, I've never done this before. My whole life has been music. My whole life has strictly only been audio. So imagine walking into a class that's like, audio has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I can't.
And you're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're going to sit here for the next 3 hours of this class. You're going to write something.
Yeah.
It was just such a daunting, experience to be in. So in that aspect, I guess this last semester it was a little bit harder. My other 2 classes, not too bad.
Yeah.
But for that class, it was a struggle mainly because I was behind on one due date that just made me behind on every due date. And then I kept switching stories, kept switching scripts, and yeah.
Becca took
It was
a
mess. It was
screenwriting class last semester, and she fell in love with it because Becca loves writing.
Yeah.
My sister. But it was funny because she was signed on for the next level screenwriting class this upcoming semester.
Oh, like a 200 class?
And she just looked at the assignments because they have them listed out.
By the way, I was supposed to sign up for my classes 2 weeks ago. I still have not.
Oh, and you haven't?
Classes literally start the 17th, and I have not done one thing. I have 6 days to hopefully.
Yeah, but I mean,
get
again,
classes.
there's still a certain level with that. There's nothing wrong with that because, like you said, you start your job next week.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're doing nothing. You're still being
Yeah.
active, still going out and getting things done. You
Yeah.
know. But no, yeah, Becca, she signed on for this new class, and and my mom was telling me that she looked at the assignments because they have them all listed out for the whole semester already.
Oh, lucky.
And she
duck,
looked at
bro.
her
Lucky
final,
duck.
and her final was like a 90-page screenwriting.
Oh, that's some light, bro.
Was it 90?
That's some light.
Maybe it was.
That's
yeah, but for her, she just didn't. She couldn't do it. It was so she signed on for a different drama
that's
class.
like an hour to an hour and 15.
Sure, but I think the one
Mine
that she
was
wrote
60.
for this last semester, which fun fact, I don't that. It could be a whole other topic in and of itself. But she wrote a screenplay.
Yeah.
In that whole format.
For is it for acting, or is it movie? Is it movies and film, or is it? For
I don't
stage?
personally know. I just know that one of her her final assignment last semester was to make a completed script for the whole for a whole custom play that she wrote.
So
she
so
wrote
it is a play. She wrote it like a play.
Kind of, it's it tells you the scenes, and
she's a theater
it's more
kid,
of a movie.
so
I think it's more movie.
just
I think
assume
personally, I think it's more movie.
Okay.
But it was all about. She basically wrote the story from start to finish with Rachel, and but she wrote it in its I lived it.
Yeah.
And I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I've gotten through some of it, and the way she wrote it, I can visually picture everything based on how she says it.
Wow.
And I have such a respect for screenplay now because it's a tough gig.
Hard.
I was looking at some of those
dude.
formats and I was like, I don't know how I would ever write something like this.
Dude, it was hard
so
for
much
me.
thought.
It was hard for me, and I didn't even do it 100% the way I was supposed to. It is, the formatting is weird. It is a formatting that you are not used to, writing dialogue in a back and forth way like that.
Yep.
While also while this person's also picking up a glass of water.
And
you have
it's really
you
weird.
have to display emotion, action, and dialogue within the same page, and you have to explain it enough for someone
like mad
to
respect
read it
to anyone who has
know.
to write those screenplays, man.
Yeah,
It's a tough gig.
I don't think I could do it. I think that was like my test.
Yeah.
And I think that is not what I'm going into at all. Like, I cannot. I think I'm just gonna either stick with audio or like post production or something. Like, I cannot. That is no. No, unless I go into like filming or something and I fall in love with like, the filming aspect and all that, then maybe. But yeah, dude, it's incredible. It's incredible. Like, I mean, just school in general is there's just so many different things you can do. Yeah. Within school, and it's ridiculous.
It's like we were saying originally.
I love how this whole podcast became a school podcast. I know, right now. I think it's hilarious.
We haven't even hit any of the fourth topics I had in mind, which is like why I kind of. But this is sort of what I like about Two Bears, One Cave, because they may have a couple topics in mind. Sometimes they do. Like
half
Bert
the time they'll just stay on Hitler jokes for like like an hour out of their 3-hour podcast.
But they'll just jump from topic to topic, especially with Bert sitting there just interrupting the whole time. But it's like I enjoy that kind of thing. If you are constantly talking about a new topic and you can constantly, piggyback off each other. Yeah. I think that makes a great podcast.
No, 100%. Like, as long as you're just fun and you flow and you're just having a good time, bro. Like,
and honestly, I feel like this is a pretty relatable episode too. I mean,
I think for anyone listening to this, I think anyone from any spectrum can relate. Even like adult. Like if you're an adult, bro,
absolutely,
you know how hard high school was. You know how hard college was if you didn't go. Like, how working straight out of high school is, and just the pressure that is put on you. Like, every parent puts a certain amount of pressure on their kid.
Sure,
and there's nothing wrong with that. I think like your kids kind of need a certain amount of pressure on them, or else like they're just never gonna learn. If you just tell a kid like, hey, stack this, pile of wood or something, like something random,
stack this pile of wood,
stack this pile of wood, like, but it's fine. Take your time, do whatever, and then leave, and then you come back like 5 hours later and nothing's been done. Yep. There's been no pressure put on that kid to do it. So I think there is an amount of pressure that you kind of have to put on like a kid.
No, absolutely. And I feel like nowadays, honestly, pressure is slowly going away.
It is. And you can 100% tell the difference in pressure with parenting. And well, there's actually a new show on. I don't know if you've seen anything about it, but there's a new show where these people are getting a whole bunch of parents together, all from around like, I want to say the U.S. I would say all around the world, but I don't know.
Okay.
I would say the U.S. though. And they're all different teaching styles. They're all different parenting styles. And the whole point of the thing is they just bring a camera crew in on these people's families. And it shows how they parent their kids, what their kids are like, what's happening around the house, all this stuff. It's basically just kind of like a test, like to see like what parent style is like the most effective, like what kids respond the most to. I low-key kind of want to watch it, only because I'm interested to see in 2023 what kind of parents there are out here. Yeah. Like I have my friend parents, obviously. I know what, how they're like, but, those are people that I've grown up with. I would definitely be
interested in seeing like what parents are like now, because we obviously, just you and I alone, I feel like both agree that we have this sort of look on parenting nowadays, and I feel like we both agree that it's sort of getting dialed down.
I think we're both on a more old school, traditional parenting style, but at the same time, like like anyone who doesn't spank their kids, like
well, here we go. Now we're gonna lose some viewers.
Well, I don't know.
No, like, I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's the same thing with parents who say like you shouldn't tell your kid no.
Ugh.
I just don't think like I think there's a way to do it. Yes, I'm also not a parent, so I can't be the one to sit here and be like, this is the way to do it.
The thing that people don't understand about spanking is there is a legitimate difference between spanking your kid and beating your child. Yeah. There is a difference, but people are so blindsided by the fact that you are making contact to them.
People would rather be friends with their kid than to like instill like the morals that a parent should instill with their kids.
Sure.
And I feel like that's a hard. And I mean, like, we're the ones to talk.
Yeah.
We're white males.
Sure. We got it easy.
With no,
straight,
you know,
too.
like, yeah, we're straight white males, no kids, no nothing,
Yeah.
you know. So there's a limit, but I do think that there also comes a limit with how you talk to your kids,
discipline is a necessity
kids, you know, disciplining
in parenting.
It's a way, you know, because no one wants to. Well, some people do, but no normal person wants to instill fear in their kid.
Sure.
But every parent wants to instill respect.
Yeah, and it is a tough balance. It's not to say it's easy.
And there's a way to have your child respect you as a parent, while also doing things that you find unconventional, like getting the belt. You know, like I'm sorry, like, you know, that's just something that a lot of parents had. I don't think any of the older, you know, there's obviously people who are, you know, crazy.
Sure.
But, you know, no one back then could say the root of my evil was my mom spanking me. You know, like
I could
it's
agree
just
to that.
trivial.
Yeah.
It's trivial to say like, oh, my parents for beating me were the cause of me being a mass murderer or something. You know,
Sure.
like there's just, it's something about that where, you know, there's got to be a line. There's got to be
there absolutely has to be a line.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance. It's not to say it's easy.
But I also want to be friends with my kids too. You know, like that's something that not a lot of people agree with.
People think that if you
if I beat my kid, I can't be their friend.
Or if you do discipline, that's what it is. If people think nowadays that if you do discipline your kids, you can't be friends with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was spanked because I was a kid at times, and I deserved it. I absolutely believe that now. And even though I was spanked as a child, I remember distinctly way more of my 21st birthday, which I know wasn't that long ago. But
you can remember your 21st birthday?
Yeah, let me even go back more. I can remember I believe my 11th birthday when I went to Disneyland with my family and Sage.
Also, by the way, sorry about the dogs barking in the background. If you guys can hear that, we're currently in my garage. So continue about getting your beat by your parents.
Beat by my parents. No, but my point is like I grew up, and when I was younger and I was, you know, not a respectable child, I was
think you
spanked.
were a pretty respectable child.
I would disagree with you.
Maybe not to your parents, but you were to
not
me.
even. It's not even respectful is not the right word because I knew the rules.
You were
and stuff.
a spaz. Bro.
I was a spaz.
You were a spaz,
and I think like my hyperness was one of the main reasons why I needed to be spanked.
I think you needed ADHD pills, bro.
I think I still do.
I think you need Xanax, bro.
Dude.
Calm your ass down.
All that to be said, now I'm 22 years old and I can genuinely say like my father is one of my best friends, you know?
That's good.
Like, and the reason I brought up the 21st was after all that spanking as a child.
How does it feel to have a dad?
Good.
Why did that remind me of Emperor?
How does it feel not to have a dad?
Good. Dude, when you first said it, it reminded me of Emperor Palpatine. Just do it.
Dude.
Oh, God, that was funny.
That's my point. But, you know, even though we joke about it, both of our lives are a perfect example of the difference, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
My father, you know, definitely disciplined me physically at times, but in a very respectable and, you know, like, not, I guess that's the best word, respectable way.
In a very parenting way.
I feel like,
in a very parenting way.
Yeah, in a parenting way, exactly. I think your father at times
it's not
took
malice.
it to
it's not a malice.
You know, in, what's the word?
Yes, he beat the shit out of me. That's the conclusion.
But do you see the difference? I mean, we can see it in both of our lives. We both have different lifestyles, sure, but I feel like you can even respect not having that parenting discipline in your father, in seeing how it affects different people in their different lives.
Well, and I think like that's something too. I guess they could like low-key shift I guess discussion. Still keeping with the parent vibes.
Sure, sure.
I think that's part of the thing that a lot of people don't know how to deal with now.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, you know, whether or not they have like daddy issues, mommy
Yeah,
issues, you know, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people, I think, use that as an excuse to be the way they are. You know, like people take the facts of their life and dictate that as their truth. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
You know, like people take the fact that, you know, like, I mean, for me personally, like the fact of my life is that I grew up with a shitty dad in a shitty household with a mom trying to do her best, but obviously, you know, you can't, you know, like, I mean, you can try your best, but it's not always going to work out the way you wanted to. Obviously it didn't, you know, so in return, my got beat pretty much my whole life, you know, that's pretty much just how that worked, but that's like the fact of my life. That's not the truth, though.
That's
not
a great way.
That is not who I am.
It is the fact of your life, but it is not the truth of your life.
It is not the truth of my life. That is, like, I am not defined by my circumstance.
That is what people don't get nowadays. That's the whole point of the discipline problem.
People think because the fact of my life is then that means you have to abide by me and what lifestyle. I want. And, like, if you don't, then, like, you're against me, blah, blah, blah. That's not how life works, bro.
No.
Everyone goes through their own life. That's just how it works, bro. Like, everyone just has a life that, you know, isn't how they want. You know, and the way you define, you know, your life being bad or, you know, a life or whatever is subjective. You know, like what you can deem as, oh, my life is terrible could be, you know, sunshine and rainbows to me.
For another
you know,
person.
like
you
just don't know. Like you just don't know, and like so many people think because of that, or because my life wasn't perfect, or because this happened, you have to do this for me. Yeah. Like, and I think so many people think that way, and I think it's sad. Cause like, you know, you're gonna I mean, it sounds kind of nice, that ASMR. But no, I just think so many people think that. Sorry, I got
no,
I got
saliva. Understand.
on my mic.
I always pick at my mic sometimes.
But
make sure it's clean.
No, I just think so many people think that they're owed something because their life didn't turn out the way they wanted. Well, if that's the case, then I'm owed a lot of. Like, I'm owed a lot.
I'm not owed as much by that standard, but, you know, I feel like I'm owed a little.
Yeah. You know? Well, I mean, by that standard, everyone's owed everything, and then that's how you get
and that's the problem with it. Exactly. Is if you live like your life by that lifestyle, that means everyone is owed something, and that's not the truth.
And that's also not to say that you're not worth anything. That's
no.
That's not what that means. Like, you know, you have a right to feel your feelings, but I have a right to not care.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
like you can have your opinions and everything. That's fine. I can respect your opinions all day. If you want to be called,
but you have to respect mine.
If you want to be, like if you,
it's a mutual understanding.
Exactly. Like if you know, like if you want to be called a shoelace, that's cool. Like, I don't I don't care. I won't judge, but like, don't expect me to call you a shoelace.
I mean, fair.
You know, like and you know, I can respect it totally. You know, like I'm not gonna, you know, say like nah, you know, like that's you know, that's such an idiotic way to I guess think. You know, everyone deserves respect. Like everyone deserves respect, regardless. You know, on what their beliefs are and everything, and everyone's opinion is their own opinion. You know, not everyone. That's part of, you know, free will and like, you know, your own mind. You know, it's
the golden rule, bro.
Yeah.
It's the
treat others the way you want to be treated, bro.
Exactly.
Like, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. That's you know, I mean, I'd say I live by that rule, but
I definitely don't.
I'd be pushing boundaries.
Pushing boundaries is a perfect way to put it.
I'd be pushing boundaries with a lot of people, but no, I just, you know, it's a hard time to have an opinion, just in general. It's just a hard time to have an opinion. It's a hard time to be able to sit down and have these conversations without there being a fight. Yeah. You know, like everyone just wants to fight about something. Everyone would rather be right than be morally logical. You know, I think a lot of people
want to be right than understand.
Yeah, people throw out logic when it comes to their opinion.
Yes.
They don't want to think about like logically what you're saying is making sense.
Mm-hmm.
They just be like, logically you make sense, but I really could care less about you, you know, and like you can kick rocks and die, you know, like that.
Rocks and
die. I just feel like that's the world we live in right now. Like we don't live in a world that is.
So, do you think that in the next 10 years, or even 20, that things are going to get better, worse, or kind of stay stagnant? Stagnant. That's a good word.
That's a good word. That's a good word. I honestly. That's a good question. I don't know.
It's tough. I don't know because
like
sometimes history goes up and down.
Here's my problem is I feel like there are more people who feel the way we do than people think there are. I think there is a very loud minority of people that overshadow the very silent majority of people, you know? So I think people are always going to be loud about their opinion.
Yeah.
It just takes others that don't agree to be loud about theirs too. So, you know, it can kind of go either way. You know, I think sadly the minority that's very loud is very loud. And the majority that's silent is very silent. So, you know,
it's a good point.
It's kind of one has to give or one has to be fed up enough to be like, all right, I'm just going to say it. TED Talk, you know, and, and throw it all out there. You know, I don't know. There's so much good change, but there's also so much bad change. And I think that's, at least for us being like young adults, it's hard for us to distinguish the difference because we do see so much of the bad that we almost coincide any of the good associating with the bad. You know, as far as like, you know, just like political matters and stuff, you know, there's so many people who preach on what they think is bad that it's like when something good actually happens, it's hard to distinguish that difference because you've been told.
I definitely think if I was going to make like a guess of where we're going to hit a point where nothing will even be considered true anymore. Like we'll get to a point where like nothing matters. Like everybody will think their own opinions, but it's so overdone that like you won't know what's fake and what's real.
Well, I think we're already living in that.
I think we're in the transition, media, in my opinion.
Well,
we're definitely in a way more of a... We good?
We're good. Sorry.
We're definitely in more of a point where it's becoming much more prevalent.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're still kind of in the transition, and I think we're about to find out, like in the next 5 years, whether or not it's going to be worse,
really good or really bad.
Really good or really bad.
Now, I also have to admit, sadly, a lot of, I think, opinion shifts, at least here in America. I'm saying this as if we have international people listening to this right now. What a pleb. What a joke. No, but I think, at least in the States, I think a lot of opinion, and I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like me for saying something like this, but I think a lot of opinion has to do with political agenda. I think there's a lot of like, if the person that I don't deem worthy enough in this position says something that I don't agree with in like the slightest, regardless on if it's logically or morally right or logically or morally wrong, that agenda is gonna get pushed, you know. And I think I think it's sad. It's just very sad because there are so many people, honestly, that are trying to do their best. Just like we are, like, you know, we're 22 years old. We're trying our best, bro. Like, there's another, you know, there's just so much that we go through. I can only imagine, you know, people in their, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s, you know, trying to, you know, going through the midlife crisis, trying to, you know, just get their act together, trying to get their lives together. There are people who are genuinely trying to do good out there that I think get overshadowed by one bad thing. or one bad majority of people saying like, oh, I don't agree with this, or I don't agree with, what this person said 15 years ago, or like, I don't agree with, like there's so many things that are being held against people that is I just feel like it makes it so hard for others to just support that, people who do support it, like, oh, I don't want to say anything because these people are making me nervous, if I say, like it was as far as a specific event, like the whole when George Floyd, when that whole thing happened, and that a lot of people on their Instagrams and everything were doing the blackout day where they posted the black picture and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I remember I had participated in that, right? Because that's like I'm highly the race thing is a very big thing to me, so obviously I wanted to take part in that, just thinking, it's literally a black picture on my Instagram, me being white, and I really don't care. Like, me being white had over maybe 10 people slide up on that post and on me for posting that. Because the sole reason being because I was white.
Wow. Isn't that ridiculous?
With the amount of black friends I have.
Yeah.
And the amount of I have more black and Mexican friends than I do white friends. And I was getting on for posting blackout whatever. And that's the thing, people, whatever day it was.
That's like we were talking about, how people can't see the truth. They see what they want to see.
Yeah, like you can do something that you think is good.
Yeah.
And people still find
a way to turn it back on you.
Yeah. And it's just it's so sad. Like, it's just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm definitely I'm sorry, but I'm not the one oppressed. I don't care. Like, it's not, it's not me that, has a reason to, I mean, there's a reason to fight for it, obviously, but like me, I'm not black, just in general. So obviously it's not gonna, it's gonna be different for me, versus, my black friends and stuff, but none of my black friends slid up on my story and told me I was wrong. So obviously
everyone who slid up.
So obviously there's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
None of my black friends swiped up and said, "Dog, why are you posting something like this?" Not one.
But that just shows you who can see through the fogged lens and who can't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's so crazy. I mean, I hate talking about politics. I'm never the one to bring up politics. But it's crazy that we live in a world now where
everything,
people
like
are
you
so
said, is a political agenda.
So people are so sensitive about it, and it's like, bro, why are we sensitive about it? Like, what, like, we all know it happened. Why are we acting like? Why are we acting like none of this happened? Why do we act like this? We know.
Yeah.
There's no way you can live in America and not know that, what happened as far as slaves was wrong. Like, I'm white. I can acknowledge the fact that should not have happened at all,
No.
But why are we harping over it now instead of building with each other and trying to, like, move past? And, like, I feel like we're segregating ourselves more now than we were essentially before.
America,
I think there's so much more hate
slowly becoming
now.
Just a bushfire of hate.
And everyone's just so mad at each other. Everyone's so, and like, yeah.
And for no good reason.
There's some terrible stuff happening.
Yeah.
But why are we fighting each other on it if
why don't we work together to figure it out?
If we can agree it's a situation, then why are we not, like, doing something together about it? Versus, like, all right, I'm going to work in my white group and you're going to work in your Mexican group or
it's
black
incredible
group
to
or
me.
Asian
I think
group,
I was in the tail end of high school when I realized that racism, like, genuinely was still such an issue.
Yeah.
Like, because, you hear all these stories and you kind of don't really appreciate it. But I feel like near the end of high school, when I was going into the college era, it really kind of stood out to me when I was like, wow, I mean, people still have so much hate in their hearts, and it's so sad.
And I don't understand why, bro. Like,
it doesn't make sense.
Like, I never understood it when I was young and I was introduced to, just, like, movies. I mean, I've been watching movies pretty much since I could talk.
Yeah,
so, you know, like, I've watched so many movies where it's like, dang, that is like a really... I couldn't believe that another person could do that to another person.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like,
or that's how I was raised too.
It just doesn't make any logical sense. And it makes me sad knowing that for me, like me feeling that way, that I can walk out of my house and still be terrified of someone thinking I'm a racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Based on my skin.
Yeah.
You know how crazy,
yes.
like you want to understand how crazy that is, bro? We are going to associate this white person with being racist. But we're also trying to get the point across to not be racist. Like logically, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And, you know, some people probably argue over it and probably comment some hate, you know, but... Like I just I was just never even like we're green right now and we know that someone's going to say something.
Bring up people or viewers if they hear it, because obviously right now we probably won't get it because there's not a lot of viewers, but even if we were a big podcast right now and we were reaching out to thousands of people, there would be so many people right now that would be just destroying us in the comments, hating us, just talking absolute ridiculous malarkey,
slandering
our names because
for agreeing
on no strong ground,
agreeing that it's bad.
Yeah,
like you know how crazy that is.
And that's, but you know, I asked you the question, what do you think is going to happen in the next 10 years? My answer is I think not in the next 10, but in the next 15, and I don't know why. It's just kind of my prediction that we're going to get to a spot where temporarily. And it's going to be a nice temporary. We're all going to be in unison. We're all going to be fine. We're all going to understand that there's like, what is the point of fighting anymore? It's not going to last.
I hope so.
But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's coming.
I hope so.
It's going to get worse before it gets better. Like, definitely. Just based on how things are going.
Yeah.
But I got to believe that somewhere along the path, we're going to have another upswing. You know, I want to believe in that.
I do too. I hope it gets better. It's hard to have faith right now, bro.
It's absolutely hard.
It is hard to have faith in America when I see things every single day.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, we are straying so much farther from God. Like,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
There's so much stuff happening right now that is so normalized where it's just like I cannot believe like we are living in this world right now. Like I cannot believe just the amount of, well, like you said, there's just so much hate in the world right now. There's like genuine hate for people that don't even know each other.
Yes.
Like, you know how insane
that's what doesn't make any sense to me.
People who don't know people hating that, like genuine hate. And I just will never understand why. Like,
this
why?
Is a banger podcast, bro. This is like probably the best one we've done.
I just don't. It's crazy, bro. I think I need another drink. I mean, honestly.
I mean, how long have we been recording?
An hour and 13 minutes.
Nice. I mean, we can keep going if you want. We can stop and have a drink ourselves. I mean, although before we stop, I want to get to at least one of the things I wanted to talk about. Yeah. Which is Ant-Man. Did you see the trailer? Quantumania, the new one.
There's a new one.
There's a new trailer.
There's a new one?
Like it goes way more into Kang.
What do you mean?
And I know this is such a switch up from what we were just talking about.
No,
but
I
like,
haven't seen it.
MODOK is in it. Yeah, not like as a main thing, but like in a couple scenes, MODOK, you can see him. Like you can see him in the full.
You mean the
big head guy?
You're lying.
And when he's in battle, he has like a mask on, and he looks more like kind of like a robot in his battle tech. But like, yeah, and I'm pretty sure. I know we're nerding out now, but I'm pretty sure the guy who's playing MODOK is the actor who played Yellow Jacket in the first Ant-Man movie. And I think when Ant-Man killed him in the first one by shrinking him, I think he just went to the quantum zone and he became MODOK. It's a bit of a different take from the comics.
That is interesting.
But I think that's what's going to happen. And like the whole point is that this trailer gave way more of a story now to what the story is going to be, which is Ant-Man or Scott Lang is sad because he lost all those years with his daughter after the blip.
Yeah.
and Kang is offering him a chance to get that time back.
Oh, so it's like an internal, interesting.
So it's gonna be that kind of story, bro. I needed to bring it up because it's really good.
Can we just take an appreciation to the fact that you can 100% tell the difference in multiverses? Like, you can 100% tell this is a completely different Kang.
Oh, yeah,
saw
in Loki.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He
looks
more
menacing.
Like comic.
He looks so comic book accurate.
I'm like so excited for this.
I can't
They
wait.
could not have casted him better. Too.
Kang is a perfect actor.
Like,
I mean,
I don't even. I wish I knew his name. Of the name. I can't think of the name, but he's a phenomenal actor.
He was just in the Creed 3 movie, right? Yeah. He was I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
I believe
the guy who's playing like his buddy or whatever that went to prison.
Yeah, I believe it.
The same guy.
Him.
Yeah,
dude. Wanna know who's also an amazing actor? Idris Elba.
I know the name. Why am I not thinking of the face?
My boy from Thor, Heimdall.
Yeah, Idris. Dude. Oh my God, he's great. I love him in every film.
Dude,
you know what movie I didn't see with him recently that like came out fairly recently?
Which movie?
That one where he's fighting a lion. Did you see that? I never saw it. I don't know if it's good or not, but it kind of looked weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I could be 100% wrong. But I'm pretty sure I actually heard a podcast that is about the legend of that line.
Really?
Now, I don't know.
Is it like based on a story or a true story?
I haven't watched the movie, so I can't judge.
Yeah.
But I watched a podcast like maybe 2 or 3 months before the first trailer had come out. And as soon as the trailer came out, I was like, this sounds like very familiar to something I've heard before, but I cannot place my finger on it. And it went through the whole thing, and I sat there and I was like, damn, I think this Loki might be about a legend that I heard on the Astonishing Legends podcast.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, because it was based in Africa and everything, and this movie is in Africa. It's like a safari or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like about some cat beast or whatever. I mean, in the movie it's a lion, but the way they talk, they just say certain things where I'm like, that sounds very familiar to like that, like to that podcast. Yeah. So I don't know. I could be tripping, but I think that would be pretty cool if it was, though. Dude,
another thing. I mean, I keep jumping, but this wasn't even part of the original topics, but it reminded me of it now that we're talking about like movies and TV. I just found out about all of the upcoming confirmed Avatar The Last Airbender related shows that are going to be confirmed. Have you heard about all of them?
There are quite a bit of them.
There is going to be the live action show, which is basically going to be just like the original show, but live action.
Live action, yeah.
There's going to be a Kyoshi either movie or show.
Interesting. I did not hear about that one.
They're going to be doing
that new
another
Avatar
animated movie or show with the new generation.
Yeah.
The Earthbender, whoever he or she is going to be.
Here's my hot take.
Uh-oh. Go ahead. Do it. We've lost enough fans so far on this podcast.
Now that I have watched quite a bit of Korra.
Sure.
I don't think I would hate it as much if they just kept the original art style.
From the first show.
I think that is my main problem.
You know what I heard, though? I actually heard something about the animation style.
You're lying.
I heard that it's not going to be like 3D, I don't think, but they're going to use similar tools to make the animation as they used in Spider-Verse.
Really?
Like, I don't know exactly what that means, but I heard like the process that they used to create Spider-Verse is going to be the same process that they used for this upcoming show.
But
I don't know what that means because, like I said, I agree with you. I think if you just stick to the classic, it would be phenomenal.
I think it's only because so many people right now are on the anime wave.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like, I get it. It's cool. But, like, Avatar is an American-made anime.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to keep it the
same. That American anime style.
Yeah, like, stop switching up the style. Now we've had Korra. That's a completely different style.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't
I
be
agree.
sitting here making a now what third, fourth style of it. Like,
Yeah,
the first one worked.
it did.
Stop fixing something that was not broken. Like, just
Yeah, that's
just
the definition of today.
Literally, just continue it the way you like. I wouldn't even cared that much about Korra. The only thing I really care about Korra is the fact that all the avatars before her now cease to exist.
Yeah,
that is my only.
I'm kind of hoping
really
they find a
don't care.
workaround with the new generation show. I don't know if they're going to, but I'm hoping they're going to find like a workaround for that.
Yeah,
because like, how are you?
Because I wasn't even.
How are you
going to
delete Aang like he's like a
like
avatar?
He just didn't exist. Like he
not
just,
avatar, but like a character.
Yeah, like he just didn't exist or anything. I think that's stupid. But
anyway, those were, I mean, the other topics were more of like a conversation starter, but the Ant-Man and the Avatar thing, those were something I wanted you to hear about before we ended.
That's very interesting. I have not seen the new Ant-Man trailer.
We'll have to watch it after this podcast.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah. How do you feel about Phase 4? That's not a good sign.
No, hold on. Here's the thing. The problem with Phase 4, which hasn't happened in Phases 1 through 3, MCU, by the way, for those who don't know what that means,
Makes sense.
You should, but Phase 4 is either banger or it's nothing in between. I don't think you could give me an example of in between, because you could list any one of the movies or shows, and I could tell you if it's a banger or.
That's fair. So you're going off a movie or show, not whole phase, then?
Isn't that what the whole phase is? What do you mean?
I mean, the phase as a whole. Or not.
That's the problem, is I can't decide, because, like, there's movies like Shang-Chi where, like, it's like something you weren't expecting it to be really good. But then you have things like, Miss Marvel, which is just, it's not entertaining enough. It doesn't captivate an audience. But then you have things like Moon Knight, where it's like another show that did really well.
Phenomenal.
But then you have another movie like Black Widow, which, like, it wasn't bad, but it kind of was subpar. The villain wasn't that great. The story was a bit out of order of the timeline. It didn't fit in. It's either banger or it's crap.
I think we should have had Black Widow before we had Captain Marvel.
That's the problem with Black Widow. If you would have put it like where Captain Marvel was,
I would have much enjoyed it.
Yeah,
way more.
Absolutely,
way more.
It would have made sense for the storyline. It would have been great.
I think Brie Larson should just stop. That's all I gotta say about it. That's all I gotta say about it.
Poor Brie Larson. I really want to like Captain Marvel.
She's just not a nice person. She's not a nice person, and it shows. It shows in her acting that she's not a nice person.
Yeah.
And for that, I hate you, Brie Larson. I hope you one day hear this podcast.
I hate.
And I love Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie's funny. Yeah,
he's a very funny man.
I don't know who I hate. I can't think of anybody.
I just love him and Sebastian Stan. I think they're.
No, you know who I hate is Marcus from 13 Reasons. I can think of. Yeah, I hate that guy.
I cannot stand Marcus from 13 Reasons Why. Oh man.
Whoever that actor is, I don't care. But
dude,
that role you did,
you're a phenomenal actor, but like I hate you, bro.
You so much.
I hate
you're
your
the
character.
Worst.
I haven't even watched the last season of 13 Reasons Why. Still?
Dude.
Because once I found out Justin died, I was like, this is a shame.
It was
He died from AIDS, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he sucking on the streets or something?
I'm
sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that, but I didn't mean to say it as if I had a problem with that. He can do whatever he wants, but
okay. Well, he was it wasn't like sucking,
because he turned in tricks for heroin.
He was still doing like black tar heroin.
He was still doing it.
Still, like, that was the whole problem.
He was still out on the streets.
It was like the beginning of being good, and then he relapsed again. It was honestly, I found it kind of realistic, because not every person gets better. And it was a hard thing. Twist. It was a hard thing to kind of, swallow. Was that the fact that he's not going to get better? How
many seasons did we have?
It was 4.
4
in the show.
It's a good amount of
4
time.
is the last season.
That's a shame. Wedding Crashers was a good movie.
I never saw it.
Sorry, it was just on TV right now. I just thought I'd bring it up. Really, you haven't seen Wedding Crashers?
There's a lot of big movies that people love that I've never seen.
It's a pretty good movie.
I could make a whole podcast on movies that I haven't seen that people would shit on me for never seeing.
That is true. I mean, didn't you just watch Forrest Gump 2 years ago for the first time?
More like a year ago. It wasn't even that. I mean, I watched it because Isaac and I started just watching movies back and forth.
I mean,
one that he picks, one that I do.
I can't judge because I might have seen Forrest Gump maybe 2 years ago for the first time, all the way through. I've seen parts of it, but I never watched the movie.
Yeah, I knew the story. It was about I can't say that word anymore, right? I mean, we can say but we can't say the R word or
You should delete that F word. That would have been so much. We can say
I'm gonna.
Oh my god.
No, it was about a special person.
With the hands.
No, those are the.
Oh, that's right. Those are the short people.
Oh, that one's gonna get me canceled.
You can't make. You're filmed. You're filmed, bro. You can't make gestures like that.
It's all right. If people listen to this podcast and understand what we talked about today, the whole point is that we shouldn't be living in hate. I don't hate anyone, even the people with the hands.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't hate those guys.
So in other words,
some people won't get what we mean. We mean small people.
With the hands.
I was gonna say it, but now I'm scared. Which is sad because that word's not even bad, I don't think.
Say it with your chest.
Midget.
We meant midget.
Yeah. Which, again...
I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's a whole other topic. Whatever. I think we're starting to kind of trail off. I feel like we had a lot of good topics today.
I think we did pretty good. This was a pretty solid one.
This was a good episode. I really enjoyed this one. And
I hope you guys
everything went great,
too.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video aspect of this.
What if you didn't record any of the video right now?
That's
happened before?
It's happened, but I think I double checked, but we're going to find out in a minute.
No, it's fine. We'll just look at the audio and it's all clipped. The entire thing.
Yeah.
Just the entire thing. Well, it's a pretty good podcast, bro.
It was.
So also, since we never went back to it, leave a comment.
Yeah, let us know what you guys want us to name our boys here.
These boys are going to be here for every single episode. Yeah. So just thought I'd let you guys know.
Thank you guys for joining again, those who did.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get some new people coming in, and as we continue to make this more of a regular thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to try and make this better every week as much as we can, as much as possible. So
we're going to make this a real thing. So stay tuned. More updates, more everything. We're going to get on Apple Music and Spotify, all that jazz. We'll be super fit.
We're going to beat the mom pod in no time.
Nah, it's fine. We'll let them stay at the top.
For a while until I'm a little impatient.
I'm a little impatient. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Thank you guys.
All right, guys. Stay tuned. Later.